the finished piece after we're done. If you can see the clarity of the hand, like the fingers, this is like up front, and then that's like the blurriness of it. And I try to like kind of determine what was best for it. What's up? What to do, YouTube? So today I have a video about depth of field. So it's partial cover up. He has like some old tribal on his arm. I think it's on the left arm or something like that. But that's what we're gonna focus on today. I'll put the image up right here to take a look at it. So that's what I'm gonna be focusing on today, is a depth of field. So to be honest, I haven't tried this in a tattoo. I've tried it before and I failed. I need to be honest. I tried it, I failed, but today I get to focus on it a little bit different. I'm trying to achieve this depth of field. If you don't know what depth of field is, it's like if you're focused, so let's say the camera is focused on my finger and then the background of it is like blurry, or like it's focused on my face, but back here is blurry. If that makes sense. Let me see if I can try and get you an example of it. Okay. So depth of field, ready? So you see the blurriness of the finger's edge right there? So, and then you see my face clear. So that's depth of field. Blurriness, and then because you're focusing on one area, and then that's like how our eyes adjust clarity from one thing to the next. So in this piece, you'll see it says Jesus' face is blurred out, and then the hand is super in focus, like hyper focused. I'm not gonna focus on the hand too much. I'm gonna focus on the face of Jesus. Here's the design we're working on today, and I tried several things. I tried several different images on it. Let me just remove these. So this is the original what he has. And so he wanted like the Calvary on it. So I put the Calvary on it. Now I told him this is a great design too. We could use this. We could figure out something later on, like in this area here. But he was like, oh yeah, it's cool, that we could do that. But then I'm like, well, let me see what I could come up with in my head. And so I've seen this image right here, and I'm like, oh man, like if I could use the darkness of his hand to try and cover some of this, and then maybe put something else up in here. And I tried several different designs, but we ended up kind of figuring out the cross is going to be the best idea. And I'm going to show you why it ended up being the best idea. Like I tried this, he didn't like the dove too much. I like this a lot actually, but it does, what happens is with this design, it kind of gives an impression of like this line right here, like it's cut off. So that's where I was like, well, maybe I could put the cross, because it's already an implied line, like the cross is here. So I just he didn't like it as much. I like it, but it does give that implied line right there. But he wasn't agreeing with me as much. So I was like, okay, he wanted originally this, and the issue that I could see with the angel is that we're still left with this empty area here and like a small piece of angel. You could see the old tattoo coming up in here, and when I just didn't want to like cram it in there. And it could be done, I could cram it in there, but I feel like it's too different. You have a lot of dark heavy blacks here, and then you have a lot of light values in this image. So to me, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't flow as well. The other issue is I guess the sizing of this image is going to be larger. What he has a bunch of flowers on here, they're larger, and then bam, you have a little small angel right there. So that's why I told him, no, we should probably come up with something different. So then, going back to the original, we actually have he wanted a cross in there somewhere, so it kind of makes a little bit more sense. I feel like it flows better, and I could kind of use the robe to kind of blend away, almost like a smoke or something here. Put some robe like these lighter values up in here, so it's just not heavy black, but it is you get some separation between values in there. But so this is what I'm focusing on today. So the hand, I'll do the hand. I'm gonna go in with the hand, but the majority of the video is going to be this is depth of field. So you got your clarity of the hand, but that Jesus' face is out of focus. So that's what I want to focus on today, and how to achieve that. Is this, like I said, and this is going to be a pretty difficult task today, but we're going to try and do it. We're going to try to get it done. you know. And the what I think that's gonna help me out with it is that I'm gonna try not to use a lot of like these sharp, like there's no sharp edge right here. You see a line and you see a value, but you don't really see like a too much of a clear edge, such as this finger here. You could see like the edge, you could see the edge really clearly, but over here you could tell there's an eye there, but you can't really tell there's an eye there. So that's where how I'm gonna approach it is by just using a lot of my mag, trying not to use my liner to crisp up these edges. So, but yeah, let's see how we do, man. And I'm gonna try and finish it today. I need to finish it today because I have like a busy rest of the week. But that's what we're working on today. Depth of field, depth of field, depth of field, guys. Depth of field. Here's the cover up. You can see the cover up here. Materials that I'll be using is a 3-liner from Cheyenne, a 5-liner from Cheyenne, 11 curve mag from Stencil, that's a standard needle, 15 curve mag from Stencil, that's a standard needle. Those are both first generations. And then a 21 curve mag from Stencil, that's a second generation. And then I might throw like a 9-round shader up in there. I'm gonna block it all in like I normally do. I'll block it in with my 5-liner and go switch back 3 to 5-liner. But I'm not gonna focus on that today. This is gonna be the focus on the depth of field. This is part 2, so you can see here we already did like half of it, you know, the cross and some of the hand. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna stencil the rest of it, like just the Jesus face in there, and show you guys how I do it when I'm doing 2 sessions. And I get really quick, make sure it's super dry, line up his thumb with his thumb and the finger. I like to just have like a marking for where I'm gonna do it. Okay, quick little marking right there. Anchored stencil stuff, stencils, whatever. This is 2 weeks. We're picking up 2 weeks. You know, I let it. I needed some time in between so that I could heal up. You can see it's still a little bit shiny, but it's pretty much healed. So you know, when I cut my stencil now, I made sure to leave where the fingers are, so I could see, like, line them up with where his face is supposed to go. So we're gonna see if we need to adjust. But I could already see like the fingers off just by a little bit, but nothing's like, it's just this little area here, but I can make adjustments while I'm tattooing it. So what I'm gonna do, just to make sure, so that area is gonna be black anyways, right here. So I'm not too concerned with it. Like, this is all black right here, but I think it looks good. I think that's where I like it. You know, if the image was a little bit different, let's say if the image was like it needed to be like the hands or a little bit like needed to be like a certain area, then I would have to restamp and make sure it was accurate. But since it's off by just like a hair, it doesn't really matter too much. So first of all, I'm gonna wipe away some of this stencil right here, so that I could see where I left off at, because I have like when I did my blocking in, because I knew we were gonna stop right here, I blocked it in, or kind of just did like a light outline. As you can see right here, this light outline right here is done with I want to say was done with like a 5-drop, but it was just very, very light pressure with my hands. All right, I'm gonna block it in 5-liner. It's gonna block in like these areas here. Now the point, I don't want them to be like super in focus, so I'm just gonna do like a very like quick blocking in with them, very, very quick. I'm gonna switch to a 15 curve mag, and I'm just gonna keep working with this and slow it down. Probably about like an 8.5 right there. Now I'm gonna try and do the rest of it because it's like out of focus, so I'm gonna try and just use my mag with the whole thing instead of just trying to like get a crispy edge on it. Because when it's out of focus, you know, you don't have that edge. You got triple black on the needle, dynamic triple black. I probably have it like 3 millimeters protruding out of, no, probably a little bit, yeah, about 3 to 4 millimeters out of the getting that pendulum motion, back forth, back forth.
So usually I'll start with all my blacks. I usually do all my blacks first, like all the heavy saturation of blacks, and then I'll move on to my lighter tones, and that's what I'm doing right here. I'm just focusing on the getting like the heavy saturated blacks out of the way first, and then when I'll move on to like a lighter tone, and I'm just working in one little area, not trying to be all over the place with the piece because I don't want to erase the stencil, especially when I'm only working with the mag at this moment. I just want to kind of slowly work in one little area, get the blacks out of the way, and then I'll move to a lighter tone.
And this needle is a 15 curve mag from Stencil. It's a first generation, and it's a standard needle, so that's they call it a 12 or a 0.35, and it's an extra long taper. And I like to feather it in the blacks. I feel like I get a better heel when it's just feathered in like that. Just kind of easy. You get like a nicer heel with it, in my opinion. There's other ways you could do it too. You can get up in there like that, like this. You get up in there, just do like these little circles like that. You can do it like that, and that works too if you take your time. And like for me, I notice if I take my time with it and just kind of be easy with it, then I get a better heel. But I like how soft the black looks when I'm feathered, like when I'm doing the pendulum motion. Alright, so I finished off this the fingers, I mean. And then added some blacks. But now I'm just gonna go back in there with my mag. Like I said before, the whole purpose of this is to get that look where it's like fuzzy or like not in focus. So this is probably, I think, one of the hardest things, because you know, like as artists, we're so used to trying to do things like in clarity, like really sharp and clear, and we're told as tattoo artists to keep like, oh, it needs to look like crispy, you know, or the clarity of it and solid. So this is kind of where like I think it's difficult, because I'm so used to doing that now I have to kind of rethink it while I'm tattooing it, you know. So I'm thinking like I can't be so perfect with like the edges. Okay, so I still got my 15 curve mag on here. I'm just gonna kind of work my way this way so I don't mess up my stencil too much. Using the corner of the mag, just kind of brushing some black in here.
So right here you could see like I'm using the corner of the mag, and I'm getting more familiar while, you know, as I'm continuing tattooing that I'm using the corner of the mag more, and it's kind of, I'm not using like the full straight on mag like I'm using there. I'm using just like I guess like the maybe it's like 4 like 5 needles on the edge just to try to get up in these corners.
I'm kind of looking at the edges and stuff like that, and what I noticed is like, because it's so out of focus, it's like they have the black, like this area here has black, but then like it has like a little brushed in like light tone, so that it makes it look more like out of focus. So that's, I'm starting to see a pattern like that, so that's what I'm gonna try to kind of go for. And I have a 3 drop on my needle right now. 3-drop and just barely brushing it in. Don't want to press too hard. I want to keep it soft and smooth.
And also when I'm shading right here in this area, I'm going with the direction of the chin, or in that the hair, I guess it's like the lip area. I'm not too sure what it is, but I'm continuing still my same direction when shading, still keeping like the aspect of the tattooing, but still trying to keep in mind that I don't want it to be super clean, like super clean edges, so that I can kind of get that blurriness effect. So, but I'm trying to still keep in mind like my attributes of like what I normally will tattoo like, but just trying to change it so that I'm not being so clean with it.
I think the only hard part about doing this tattoo, like with all the mag, is it without, because usually I block in stuff. I'll block in all of it. I think the hardest part about it is that I'm so used to blocking it in. So if my stencil removes, I just got to be super careful not to ruin my stencil.
Yeah, so a side note on my blocking in technique, usually what it does for me is it helps, like it's like a undersketch, so it kind of keeps like I guess if the stencil removes, I have like that undersketch of it. It also gives it like more clarity, like I could get my shape started, so I can kind of get the roundness of the cheek or the balls of the nose or something like that. But it has like multiple benefits for me. I could get texture, I could get little areas, little corners with the needle, so that I don't have to depend on my mag so much. But there's a lot of benefits that the blocking in does for me when I initially start. So I'm trying to think backwards when I'm doing it with just the mag in this aspect of it.
I have a 2-drop on here. I'm going to tone these areas down.
Yeah, so what I do is I normally, when I do my tattoos, I'll start with all my heavy black saturations, and then I'll move to like my medium tones, and then I'll kind of step back at the piece, and then I'll see if I need to tone down some of the negative areas with like a lighter value, just so I could have a more dynamic contrast. I feel like I'm more comfortable that way when I start with blacks. And it also tells a lot about the artist too. When I normally see artists go straight in with black, I kind of already feel like that's already like, okay, they're very confident with their use of black, so they like just make that split decision. Okay, this is my black, then I'm gonna go to my medium, and then I'll go to my lightest tones, and then at the end I'll see if I need to tone it down of my negative spots.
This is a 1-drop right here. I'm just gonna, I know there's like a big highlight right here.
Yeah, so you could see how like I'm working with my lightest tone, and then I'll kind of step back in that negative spot there that you see. I'll kind of see if I need to tone it down, if it's sticking out too much. And later on in the video, I actually go back, like right there, I'm actually going back and toning it down just a little bit. But that's normally how I'll kind of adjust my tones, is I'll step back from the piece and see if I need to adjust it down a little bit, or if I rarely go back and hit the blacks in there, but just barely, like going and adjusting back, sitting back to see if I need to adjust the light values.
Okay, I'm going to a 1-drop. Real lightly, barely touch.
And here's that technique of just using the corner of the mag. I'm just kind of just like easing them four needles in the corner, just kind of brushing them in there, trying to get up in that edge, but try not to be too perfect with it. And it was hard for me in this video. I was so used to doing everything perfect. It's kind of hard, like trying not to make it super clean.
Alright, you guys, so you see right here, so this is like really out of focus, and I'm just gonna go in still with my 15 mag. I'm gonna start with some triple black, and I'm not even gonna like pay attention to the edge, like, so like, okay, just for instance, I know this is like a blend right here, like there's like a hair going this way, but if I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna make that area all black, and I'm gonna blend out. And I'm trying to avoid like that hard line, and I'll zoom in on there. Like you can see this area, like it's not hard, it's kind of like pixelated at the edge, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish with throughout. Like some of these areas are really pixelated, like really blurry, so that's where I'm gonna get that like out of focus.
Yeah, and so here's an example of me just working with the blacks first throughout this little section of the video. I'm just using the triple black dynamic, and like here I'm using black, here I'm using just a straight black. And so what I'm doing is I'm getting all the black solid areas first, or the darker tones out of the way, and then I'll come back with my lighter grays and then kind of like smooth them out or blend them out. And then that's, like I said before, like that's normally how I work. I'll do all my darker values first, and then I'll come back with my lighter values and fill in the little areas that I left open.
So I'm noticing a pattern on this. If you guys, I'll put it up on the screen too, so you guys could see. But like for instance, the blurriness of it, it's kind of like there's a pattern of like, so if you look in this area, you have it like fuzzy on this side, right? But then one side it's got clarity, like right here, and then you got my rinse out, but like right here it's like double line. And then right here it's kind of got like a, you know, you got the dark value. I'm gonna blend this out real quick. We got the dark valley coming out, then we got some more dark valley here, and then there's no like solid edges. It's just kind of like, I guess like nothing too crispy, but sometimes there's like this is like, and this edge right here is like really pixelated. But I've noticed a trend. It's like, it's almost like double line, so it looks like this. So maybe if I use the mag a different way, I might be able to pick up that blurriness.
So right here I'm going over a scar tissue. He has a scar going through his arm right there. And you can see it just gets really red and swollen, but it'll eventually subside. But I just try to be a little bit more gentle in that area, using a little bit more like ointment. But this scar's not too bad. But usually when I go over them, I just try to be like real gentle with the area. I try not to continually go over it, just in and out, and that's it. And let's see, here I am again using that like corner of the needle, just them 4 needles on the edge. You know, and I'm not too sure if it's 4 needles or more, but I'm just kind of brushing it in, trying not to be too clean with it. And I just barely started picking up this technique recently. I seen another artist do it, and I was like, man, I'm gonna just try that, start trying that out more, and start utilizing that more. And I've been getting super comfortable with it, and it's been working out to my benefit. But yeah, this is just that corner, man, is just helping me so much within my tattoo journey as I continue to grow and to learn. You just want to keep trying out little things that are working for you and what's not working.
All right, we're getting close to the end of the, I guess, the depth of field area. Now, I've just been using my mag the whole time. I've been just using like the corners of it, trying to rethink it so that I'm doing it more like not perfect, I guess, so that my edges are not really crispy. That's what I kind of been focusing on. And I got triple black on the needle. Just kind of blending it, being easy with it. Like some parts look sharp in the image, I'll put it up, but I'm still trying not to be like super, I guess, perfect with it.
And to be real, when I'm looking at the stencil, guys, like it's giving me kind of like a little headache because we're used to seeing things like in clarity, and like if I didn't have glasses or something like that, that's how I'm seeing it. But it kind of like, to be honest, like give me a headache, kind of like not used to really staring at something that's that out of focus all the time. But yeah, but yeah, it was super interesting to do.
Yeah, I'm just using the corner of it.
And this is a 15 curve mag by Tatso. This is the first generation. So this is a bigger needle, and when I'm using the corner, I like to use the larger mags for some reason. I feel like when I'm using like a 7 curve mag, I rarely use 7 curves mags, but like if I'm using an 11 curve mag compared to like the 15 or even the 21, I could get like a little bit more like up into the edge with the larger mags compared to the smaller mags. I noticed that like the smaller mags, I'm having trouble viewing where the corner is when I'm trying to lay it in there, or when I'm trying to bump up to the edges. With the larger mag, I feel like I'm more accurate and like know where my corner's at with the needles. And I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it's just like a habit that I kind of built up, and it's a beneficial habit when I'm doing it. And these little black areas or these little thorns or whatever, I could have used like a 9 round shader or a 5 round shader to get up in there and kind of give it like the texture. But when I use that type of needle, it gets it like super solid. And with the benefits from using the mag and the corner of the mag, it's getting it like kind of like just not perfect. You could see like it's outside of the stencil a little bit, and that's the effect that I want to achieve. So getting to know your needles, like in how they what how they perform, is like really good. Just over the years, just trying the different needles that you're liking and just seeing how they react when you're using different methods, I guess. And it's going to be very beneficial in your tattoo journey and your tattoo career. Just like me, as I'm using the corner of the mag instead of using a 5 round shader, because I know that 5 round shader or that 9 round shader, it's going to look more like more solid and like more clean. And then with the mag, it's gonna have that like pixelated area, kind of like a mess ups, kind of, but like it was intentional, like that intentional mess up was intentional. And this video should be out within the next couple of days. I'm posting it. I took a break from YouTube videos for a little bit, just like life happens, man, and I just kind of had to focus on other areas of my life. And I hope that things will get a little bit better what I'm doing or with my life, and then and it's nothing crazy. It's just I had some family issues, but now that things are smoothing out and I kind of have more of a direction, I hopefully is going to put out more of these videos. And then it's just been like a crazy, life happens. I just hopefully I'll be able to start putting out some videos. I want to start putting them out maybe once every 2 weeks, like one video every 2 weeks, just because the editing takes a little bit longer than I anticipated. And sometimes you get lazy and don't want to do it, but you need to do it. And I enjoy doing the videos and enjoy talking to you guys, and you guys commenting and learning, and just sharing what I have as an artist and my experiences. Man, I've been tattooing for over 20 years, and as a professional tattoo shop owner and professional artist, probably over like maybe like 15 years. But yeah, I want to get back into doing more of these videos. And you guys don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave in the comments. And hopefully things start smoothing out, that I'll have more time to make the videos and edit videos and posting them more often.
All right, everybody. So hopefully you hear me pretty good. But this is the finished piece after we're done. If you can see the clarity of the hand, like the fingers, this is like up front, and then that's like the blurriness of it. And I try to like kind of determine what was best for it. Like I just used my mag the whole way. I didn't really I didn't really like want to use my liner or block it in too much, so I try to, if you could see like really close, it like doesn't have like a solid edge on it. It's kind of just like really like magged out, especially like in this area here. But yeah, I try to do my best with it. Let me know what you guys think. I tried different little style technique right here, but that's how, like, that's the clarity of that, and then if I go right here, that's how the clarity looks of that. And when it heals down, it should heal like kind of like pixelated. So that's how the finished product looks, and this is the rest of his arm. But yeah, and he had a cover up right here, and I'll put the cover up on the screen too, so you guys can take a look at it. But that's what it looks like after, and tell me what you think.